I really, really, really hate having baths.
What a wonderful Badedas bath I have just had. Oh, look at that wonderful green colour of the bath. So wonderful. And now I smell like horse chestnuts. I'm just for no reason going to go. I'm going to wish that I'd vacuumed. I'd put that mattress away. Just going to go to my window. And what do I see?
So recently I bought a big bottle of Badedas Bubble Bath from Boots the Chemist on Holborn. Now, I haven't bought this for years, and to be honest, I never buy bubble bath for myself because I don't have baths. They are just a pointless and wasteful experience. You run the bath, you sit in the bath, and then you think, well, now what am I supposed to do? So personally, I don't have baths, but I live with two other people who do. And apparently, even though I'm the one that doesn't have baths, I am the one in charge of buying the stuff that they put in the bath. So recently, I was reading Sally Hughes's beauty column in The Guardian, which I do enjoy, where she surprisingly recommended as one of the best high street bubble baths Badedas, which I actually remember from a series of adverts in the 80s because I am 1,000,000 years old. And the slogan on the adverts was "Things happen after a Badedas bath." And I think as a kid, this is evocative of a luxurious and sophisticated experience. The brand was founded in Germany in the 1950s and has repeatedly changed hands over the years, but it is currently owned by Unilever. I'm not sure it's had some changes in ingredients since that time, but it is broadly the same as it was back then. Now, the bubble bath itself is quite lovely. It has a fragrance that you don't often get these days. It's strong, it's woody, grassy, with sweet overtones. It's very pleasant, and it also turns your bath this wonderful, mystical green colour. And I think bubble bath these days is hard to find, especially decent quality. You tend to just get very basic stuff like Radox in most high street shops and supermarkets. So it's nice to spend a bit more money and get something a bit special. Now, I bought a big bottle, which was about £15, and that does seem a lot, but it's lasted a really long time. And this is in a household with two regular bathers. So, not only that, but the whole house smells so nice after you've used it as well, which is very pleasant. It produces a lot of bubbles, even with our really hard water. Now, London water is so hard that sometimes you'll find it waiting outside behind a lamppost to beat you up and steal your dinner money. But even so, we do get a nice sort of foam with it. And although personally I haven't used it, it they tell me it doesn't dry your skin out or anything like that. So top marks all around for the product. Now, I asked my husband about the Badedas adverts, but he didn't remember any of them. But then again, he grew up overseas, so probably never saw them. I then Googled it. I looked up vintage Badedas adverts, and I assumed these pictures were parodies. I thought it was like a something awful Photoshop challenge. Someone remembered these and made memes out of them. But then I had another check. And as far as I know, all of the following are not memes, they're not fake, they're not Photoshop. These are genuine Badedas adverts. So before I show the first one, I want to just go through the scenario, which is the same each time. In the adverts, you have just had a bath, you've wrapped in a towel, and you go to the window or occasionally a door, and something is happening. Like someone has been attracted to your presence by the fact that you finally had a bath, you filthy goblin, and now you smell really nice. So something seductive is happening outside. And also, just to note that, yeah, with modern eyes, these do look weird. They are reflecting the times they're created in. And also, if the slightest glimpse of the top of somebody's bottom is something that you find disturbing, then you shouldn't look at these adverts. So the first one I found is a lady who has just opened the blinds after her bath to find this dude on the veranda opposite wearing a bathrobe that suspiciously matches their own towel. So he's like, "Hey, we match. Do you want to pop round or something and compare bath linens?" Which I think is a meet cute. Why not? This next one is a lady who has obviously had a bath and she's opened her curtains to see a guy dressed as Santa Claus hopping over the hedge, presumably with a nice present for her. This was the one I saw first of all, and I assumed it was a fake, but apparently not. It's just their Christmas advert, adapted from a very, very similar regular advert, probably one of their most famous ones. So this is that one. If you want to see that one, here it is. And this is the Christmas version, suggesting that Auntie Carolyn might appreciate a bottle of bubble bath from you. I mean, after all, she's ignored all the other hints, so perhaps she'll actually use this one and then might be a bit more pleasant to be around over the holiday. Here is another lady here, and I do not understand what is going on here at all, even with my sort of 1970s goggles on. This lady has opened the curtains after her bath to find three guys on her lawn with a ladder, which is very strange. I've got no idea. Uh, is her door not working? Did she forget that she'd arranged to have her gutters cleaned, and here they are with the ladder to do it? Has she accidentally thwarted a heist? Are they here to install solar panels and annoy her neighbours? Did she flood the ground floor of a house with the bath? And does she need to be rescued? Well, she's going to have to get dressed first. Now, Badedas's marketing is not particularly gendered, which I think was pretty common for this kind of product in certainly the 70s. It's got a nice woody fragrance. The bottle is a lovely, sophisticated dark green. So here we have this guy who has opened the curtains to discover that someone has landed a helicopter on his lawn. Now, I'm surprised he didn't notice while he was in the bath. I mean, maybe he was listening to a very compelling podcast or something, but we have had the London Air Ambulance land in the park behind a house a couple of times, and it is definitely not the kind of thing you can easily ignore. But yes, she's landed a helicopter on his lawn and is striding towards his window with intent. I have no idea what she's doing, and I've no idea whether or not what she's wearing is practical for flying a helicopter. But anyway, now talking of people landing aircraft on your lawn, this lady has discovered a hot air balloon and a gentleman wearing a cape walking towards her bathroom window. I mean, when you think about it, this isn't quite so weird. Hot air balloons don't exactly have toilets on board, so perhaps he just landed because he needs a poo and is hoping she won't mind if he uses her toilet. I mean, I know balloons are quieter than helicopters, but I really think you'd notice before it landed. They are quite large things. Now, in a change from opening windows or curtains, this lady has opened some opulent doors to discover a posh man in red trousers complete with a sword. Now, maybe he's here to tell her not to walk on this swanky carpet with her wet feet. I mean, I say this because the bathers in my house never dry themselves when they get out, and they tread bubbly footprints everywhere. So maybe she's the same, and he's there to tell her to either dry her feet or use a bath mat like God intended. Now, this man has been faced with some sort of elven queen on horseback, who is presumably inviting him to ride off to Lothlorien with her, but it does look quite chilly outside, so he is going to need to pop something else on over his towel. I do feel she's very much assuming that he can A, ride a horse, and B, can do so bareback, which is trickier than it looks and is not always recommended unless you know the horse really well and are aware of all the additional precautions you need. I feel that maybe there's an innuendo in there somewhere. And continuing the horse theme, here there's a horse and cart driven by a hot man in breeches. This, oddly enough, reminds me of my father's dating days, where he would drive his electric car to various dates' houses and would use the 3-pin adapter to charge while the date went on. The equivalent here would presumably be letting the horses graze the lawn. I'm just wondering if he's going to pick up any manure afterwards or tell her to sort of rake it in for the good of the grass. Now, this lady has been disturbed from her bath by two dudes who are going to duel while she watches. They also have what looks like Lurch from the Addams Family acting as a second. Maybe he steps in for the date if they both kill each other. This, for me, is the darkest advert, as unlike the others, these guys obviously have most intent. And it may be that she and Lurch over there plotted this in advance, and they're going to run off together when these two idiots have killed each other with their pistols or whatever those are. Now, this person has decided to have a bath after what was probably a long, sweaty day of trading around Venice, and which is very civilized. And while she was in the bath, a bloke has turned up and set up a picnic table under a spotlight for some reason. So I'm just hoping that he has snacks and a nice cocktail for her. Now, these nighttime ads are pretty sinister. In this one, I was going to say it's a vintage Jag, but I suppose it wasn't vintage at the time. But anyway, a Jag has pulled up on her driveway. After she's finished choking on the fumes that come off these things, maybe the driver's going to give her a lift to the tube station because she's going out for drinkies with her work chums. And I wonder if he's going to be able to park that thing there because mostly, pretty much everywhere where we live is parking control. So I hope she's got a driveway or something. Otherwise, he's going to get fined. Now, I like the Scandinavian styling of this ice skating one. And I generally appreciate that even though what you've got is someone's back and a towel, the attempt to kind of style the models according to the scenarios, I think is pretty nice. So I like the braid she's got around her bun. I like the gingham curtains. It all very much gives a certain feel. So while she's toweling herself off, the person outside has been skating a heart shape to impress her. And on the whole, this is probably the best of a wide range of possible shapes that he could have created with his skates. So that's wonderful, very wholesome, very, very sweet. And finally, I've got two quite similar ones which both involve water. In the first, a raft is approaching, complete with a chaise longue, a band, a blindfolded band for some reason, and a louche gentleman. Now, I'm assuming she has also flooded the local area with her extravagant bathing, and they've come to effect a rescue, but in a whimsical way, so that she keeps calm and doesn't panic. Now, in the second, it does look like this bather is on a cruise ship, and the pilot boat has chugged alongside to, see if she wants to hop on board. Now, in this case, I would advise her to stay on the cruise ship. She's obviously got a swanky suite because it's got a bathtub and a balcony, and definitely bathtubs are very rare on cruise ships. So I very much doubt that little boat has any of those things, and it definitely does not have a buffet. So she should probably just stay where she is and, have a nice time without him. So there you have it. Apparently, things happen after a Badedas bath, and perhaps things will happen to you as well. So that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you want. I need to see a little thumbs up from Evie. Hi, Evie. I know you're watching. And Jessica as well. I know you watch these and I do appreciate it. So thank you very much and have a nice rest of your day